David's going to give him a beating, man. To be honest with you, I think David, is going to stop him maybe like in the 9-10 round. Maybe if he would have just hold on a little bit more.
David Benavidez and David Morrel Jr. are set to clash this weekend, and boxing fans are hyped. Both men are young, strong, and undefeated at light heavyweight. They both won their last fights in dominant fashion, and now they will battle for a shot at the undisputed title. Benavidez is coming off a solid win over Alexander Gvozdyk. It was his first fight at 175 pounds after moving up from super middleweight. He had been chasing a fight with Canelo Alvarez at 168, but that never happened. So he moved up, won his first fight, and now holds the WBC interim light heavyweight title. Morrel is in the same boat. He moved up to 175, beat Radivoje Kaladzic, and won the WBA interim title. Now, these two must fight to see who becomes the mandatory winner of Artur Beterbiev versus Dimitri Bivol, which takes place later in February. People in the boxing world have been debating this matchup for months. It's a close one. Benavidez has power, size, and relentless pressure. Morrel is slick, quick, and extremely skilled. So what do the experts think? Chris Algieri kept it simple. At 175, I would favor Benavidez. At 168, I may favor Morrel. He is fantastic. Regardless, it's a very tough fight, very close. I'm happy it's happening. That's a fair take. Morrel was very dominant at 168, but Benavidez is a monster in the ring. The weight class could play a role in who wins.
There's 3 weeks left of the fight. 3 weeks left of the fight. There's nothing you can do.
I'm waiting for fight tomorrow. I'm waiting for fight tomorrow. I don't care, bro.
Leonard Ellerby thinks the fight will be wild. I expect somebody's going to hit the canvas and it might be early. Both guys really want this fight and want to make a big statement. There's going to be trash talk and drama in the buildup. This is a fight the fans will love. He's right. Both men hit hard. Neither is afraid to mix it up. The crowd will be on their feet for this one. Tim Bradley had a strong opinion. I still think Morrel needs more seasoning. His last fight wasn't great. Benavidez can do a little bit of everything. We see him as an aggressive pressure fighter, but he can also move and box. That makes me believe Morrel will struggle. This is a key point. Morrel is extremely talented, but he only has 11 pro fights. He's skilled, but has he faced someone like Benavidez? Not yet.
In my eyes, I see it as a 50-50 fight. And I know some might say, well, why do you think it's a 50-50 fight? Because, one, we know we've definitely seen a lot from Benavidez over the years. When it comes to Morrel, we've seen spots of him.
Gabriel Rosado kept it short. I favor Benavidez, but you can't sleep on Morrel. Caleb Plant also gave a good breakdown. Their styles are different. One is a southpaw, the other is right-handed. One puts his punches together very well, and so does Morrel. He's a little more crafty, but also a little more passive in his approach. It's a big fight, and I'm excited. Then there's Jose Benavidez Sr., David's father and trainer. He made headlines by saying Caleb Plant is better than Morrel. He also said Morrel is making a mistake by fighting his son so early in his career. This is the best camp we've ever had. David is on another level mentally and physically. His man strength has kicked in. You're going to see a more powerful David than before. He went further, saying Morrel should have fought other guys first. Why did they put him in with David? They made a mistake. He should have fought Caleb Plant, Demetrius Andrade, Trevor McCumbee, or Anthony Dirrell first.
I don't want the David versus David fight. I don't think David needs to be giving David an opportunity. David put in the work. The other David needs to go put in some work. And he looked like dog shit in the fight that I thought he lost. I don't care if I'm alone in that fight. I'm good with that.
Some fans think this is just mind games. Others feel he's showing fear. Morrel has been calling for this fight since 2022, and Benavidez's team only agreed to it now. Some believe they were hoping Morrel would lose or look bad before fighting him. Instead, Morrel dominated his last fight. Now, they have no choice but to face him. People defending Morrel say the fighters Benavidez Sr. mentioned wouldn't have helped him much. Andrade is 36, Dirrell is 40, and hasn't fought in years. Plant is still active, but likely wouldn't have taken the fight. Morrel's team knew this was the best way to get a title shot. If Morrel wins, he will be the mandatory for the winner of Beterbiev versus Bivol. That means a huge payday and a chance to be undisputed.
My brother has way more experience than this guy, way more stronger. I just feel like, it's just a hype. This guy has his hype, and you can see he's scared. In all these past interviews and these past, face-offs, you can tell that guy's scared. He's not. He talks a big talk, but I can tell by his eyes that he's not about.
There's a lot at stake. Benavidez is also in the same position. Winning this fight puts him one step closer to greatness. The fight will take place at the T-Mobile Arena in Las Vegas. It will be on PBC on Prime Video PPV, costing $79.95 USD. The buildup has been intense, and both fighters seem confident. I still think Morrel still needs a little bit more seasoning. To be honest with you, I wasn't too fond of his last fight. It wasn't too fun. Benavidez can do a little bit of everything. We only see him as being a pressure type of assassin type of guy, throwing combinations, quick combinations, and really, just stepping on the gas and squashing guys. But, he can move and box if he wants to as well. He can. I've seen him. So he has that degree, so he can do a little bit of everything in there. This makes me believe that Morrel is going to struggle against that, said Tim Bradley.
Morrel and David Benavidez face off. It got choppy. David said, I'm going to break your face. Morrel was talking, break down the fight.
Yeah, that's a good fight. Good, tough fight for both those guys. They're both undefeated, so one has to lose. But, got to give them respect for both taking it. It's a good fight. I think it's 50-50.
That's 50. 50 right there. If anything, 55-45 for Benavidez. I love David versus David. I love everything about the fight. The thing David Benavidez has over Morrel is experience and true strength. Both of those guys are big guys, but I think David Benavidez is a more natural 175-pounder. When you're in a competitive fight that is going to go 12 rounds, of course, you're prepared for the 12. But when you have had that experience of having resistance at different points in the fight, it's nothing new to you. Morrel has not had resistance at the pro level. His fight with Hot Rod Radivoje Kalidzic, that was a different kind of resistance. That was the kind of resistance of somebody trying to stay away from you and him not being able to catch up to him, Porter said.
Morrel has not had resistance. His fight with Hot Rod, that was a different kind of resistance. That was the resistance of somebody staying away from you, you know what I mean? And him not being able to catch up to him. With Benavidez can bang with him.
Canelo Alvarez, on the other hand, admits he's torn on the winner of Saturday's light heavyweight showdown between David Benavidez and David Morrel. Canelo will no doubt be a keen observer when Benavidez and Morrel, two men he's been linked with in the past, meet for the WBA regular and WBC interim titles. Benavidez is the bookmaker's favorite to defeat the undefeated Cuban, but Alvarez sees it as an even fight. It's going to be a good fight, the 34-year-old told IFL TV. 50-50 fight. Bob Santos, trainer of Mario Barrios, Jason Rosario, and more. It doesn't get any better than this fight. You have two elite, young athletes in their primes. This is great for the sports world. Benavidez has fast hands, an unbelievable jab, high ring IQ, and savviness from his plethora of fights.
I really don't care about that. Even if it was on steroids, I'd beat the shit out of him. But, if you're a dirty fighter, you will get exposed.
David Morrel Jr. has those superior Cuban skills with his hand speed, foot speed, and athleticism to burn. Get your popcorn ready because it's going to be unbelievable. I know both guys very well, and I'm rolling with David Morrel Jr. It's going to be a great fight, a 50-50 fight. Stephen A. Smith, one of ESPN's most outspoken analysts, made it clear where he stands. He's a huge fan of David Benavidez and respects him for always taking on the toughest challenges. David Benavidez versus David Morrel Jr. is a big fight, Smith said. I'm a huge David Benavidez fan and I applaud him because he ducks no one. He's ready to fight at all times. He is the Mexican monster. Sometimes I wonder if someone is going to hurt him because he doesn't really move. He's shown that he can take a punch and he can damn sure give one with either hand. He's got speed, he's got power, he's got boxing ability, and he's got heart. I don't know if there's a bigger fan of David Benavidez than me. I have a lot of love for his skills and I want to see him on the big stage.
I always got some kind of contact with this. Always. You may throw yours, okay, cool. But I got contact with you. So I make bing, bing. You can land a jab with a southpaw.
Lamont Roach has also joined the discussion. The WBA super featherweight world champion is also excited about the fight. He sees it as one of the best matchups in 2025 and believes Benavidez will have the edge. Benavidez versus Morrel is a very interesting fight and one of the better fights of the year coming up in 2025, Roach said. It's a barn burner of a fight. Morrel is a flash Cuban fighter, but he's also got the power. With David Benavidez, he's a monster. He overwhelms his opponents, punches hard, has good shot selection and good defense that people sleep on. I'm going with David Benavidez by late stoppage. I think he wears Morrel down and hurts him to the body. David Benavidez is heading into this fight with complete confidence. He has never lost a fight and plans to keep that streak alive when he steps into the ring against Morrel on February 1st at the T-Mobile Arena in Las Vegas. Benavidez holds an impressive record of 29 wins, 0 losses, and 24 knockouts. He is putting his interim WBC light heavyweight title on the line and hopes to dominate his opponent to set himself up for a shot at the full world title in the division.
You know what I mean? Just him telling me that he was going to beat me, and then I told him I was going to break his mouth, and I was going to take his belt.
His opponent, David Morrel Jr., is also undefeated. The Cuban fighter has a record of 11 wins, 0 losses, and 9 knockouts. He currently holds the WBA regular light heavyweight title and has made it clear that he plans to make Benavidez eat his pride punch by punch. At a recent media workout at Pound for Pound Gym in Las Vegas, Benavidez spoke about his preparations and his mindset going into the fight. "This camp has been amazing and it's going to be my best performance yet," Benavidez said. "This is the strongest I've ever been. I'm excited to really showcase my skills in this fight. I had a lot of injuries and adversity going into that fight, but I went in there against one of the best in the world and showed I have a lot of heart." Benavidez has been in big fights since he was just 20 years old, and he knows what's at stake.
Benavidez Morrel. How does that fight go?
It's gonna be sick. See, those are the fights that need to happen, man. Those are the fights that the world wants to see. You know, I was talking about Bam, but there's no big names for Bam at 115. 118, maybe a couple. 122, maybe one day, 3 years from now. But Benavidez, you know, and Morrel.
Representing his Mexican and Mexican-American fans means everything to him, and he wants to prove why he deserves the title of Mexican Monster. The way I fight, I always try to take my opponents out. It doesn't mean you always get it, but we're definitely going to be pushing for it. David Morrel has made it personal for me. Benavidez acknowledges that Morrel is confident, but he isn't worried about his opponent's mindset. For him, the only thing that matters is what happens in the ring. I'm glad he's confident in himself. It's all speculation until we get in there. On February 1st, I'll show why I'm at this level. As for his future, Benavidez is staying focused on the task at hand. But he made it clear that after this fight, he wants all the belts in the light heavyweight division.
You will get exposed. You know what I mean? That's why they were making such a big, they didn't want to test. But dirty fighters will be exposed in this game. You know what I mean? And that's not good for the sport, and it's not good for people, you know, to use steroids. So, you know, I'm not going to let...
What's the status of that right now, the testing? What is being used?
Right now, I'm 100% focused on February 1st. After that, we can talk about getting all of those light heavyweight belts. This fight has all the ingredients for a classic showdown. Benavidez is known for his relentless pressure, fast hands, and ability to break his opponents down. Morrel, on the other hand, has the slick boxing skills and power that Cuban fighters are famous for. Boxing fans around the world are split on who will win, but one thing is certain: this fight will be explosive. Both men are young, undefeated, and hungry for greatness. With so many experts, fighters, and fans giving their takes, the excitement for Benavidez versus Morrel is only growing. Whether it ends in a knockout or goes the full 12 rounds, this fight will be one for the history books.
Ready for this fight, for this moment. I know it's the big fight, the big moment for me. I'm going to the February 1st or everything.
Unlike Benavidez's past opponents, Morrel is neither old nor undersized. He is young, hungry, and ready to prove that he belongs at the top. This fight is truly unpredictable, with fans and experts debating how it will play out. But Benavidez and his team have no doubts. His father and trainer, Jose Benavidez Sr., has made it clear that they have a plan, and it's all about taking Morrel into deep waters and drowning him. For years, critics have pointed out that Benavidez has not faced top-tier competition. Many believe that his biggest wins came against smaller fighters or aging veterans. But now, there are no excuses. He was a very decorated amateur and a 2-division world champion, Jose Benavidez Sr. told Fight Hype. So hopefully, we're going to get the credit for beating a legit fighter. Morrel might not have as many pro fights as Benavidez, but his amateur background is elite. Cuban fighters are known for their technical skills, and Morrel has shown flashes of brilliance since turning pro. His speed, footwork, and power make him a serious threat.
But I'm really excited what's happening on February 1st at T-Mobile Arena. You got two young guys in their prime fighting each other. I got to give credit to Benavidez for taking the fight. A lot of people said he was scared of Morrel. When Canelo didn't want to fight him, he signed up to fight Morrel.
Still, Benavidez Sr. remains confident that the pro game is different from the amateurs. And when Morrel steps into the ring with the Mexican monster, it will be a whole new experience. The Benavidez team believes they have the perfect strategy to break Morrel down. "We have our game plan of what we're going to do with this guy," Benavidez Sr. said. "We're going to take him to the deep waters and try to drown him. Let's see if he can swim." Benavidez is known for his relentless pressure, volume punching, and brutal body shots. His opponents often wilt under the pace he sets. The plan is clear: force Morrel into an uncomfortable fight, wear him down, and eventually take him out. This won't be easy. Morrel isn't just any fighter. He has the speed and skill to counter Benavidez and make him pay for any mistakes. If he can keep his composure and avoid getting dragged into a firefight, he has a real chance to win. "This is not an easy fight for either of us," Benavidez Sr. admitted. "Not for him, not for us. We have to prove ourselves. We want to make history."
The main theme right now for this fight is that you're the one that's experienced. He has a deep amateur pedigree, but it's you who has the experience. Do you see that fight like this, or do you just see him just as another opponent?
I mean, I don't really see the amateur as any. I don't see that as, this is not an amateur fight. This is a professional. This is a championship fight, 12 rounds. So, I mean, he might have an advantage, the first 3 rounds.
David Morrel Jr. has made it clear that he's coming into this fight with full confidence, ready to take down David Benavidez. From the moment the fight was announced, Morrel has been vocal about his belief that he has what it takes to not just beat Benavidez, but to dominate him. He has dismissed the idea that Benavidez is some unstoppable force, saying, "I will make Benavidez eat his pride punch by punch." For Morrel, this fight isn't just another step in his career. It's a chance to prove that he belongs at the very top of the sport. Morrel has repeatedly emphasized that Benavidez has never faced someone like him before. While many fighters have avoided the so-called Mexican monster, Morrel has embraced the challenge head-on. He keeps saying no one wants to fight him. "Well, here I am. No more talking. Let's fight," he said, making it clear that he's more than ready for the moment. He sees flaws in Benavidez's game that others haven't exploited, and he's confident he can take advantage of them.
First, live on pay-per-view from Las Vegas at the T-Mobile Arena.
"People act like he's unbeatable, but I see weaknesses. I see openings," Morrel stated, adding that Benavidez struggles when forced to fight going backward. "He can't fight on the back foot. I'm going to expose that." The Cuban southpaw has also pointed to his own speed, strength, and intelligence as key advantages in this matchup. "I'm too fast, too strong, too smart. He's going to find that out real quick," he said. He has claimed that his training camp has been the best of his career, saying, "This is the best training camp of my life. I'm sharper than ever. I've been preparing for this moment. This fight is mine." He believes that his skill set will overwhelm Benavidez, no matter how tough he is.
David Benavidez is training to fight David Morrel February 1st in Las Vegas.
There's also no love lost between these two fighters. Morrel has made it personal, saying that Benavidez disrespected him and that he intends to make him pay for it in the ring. "He wants to act tough? Let's see how tough he is when we're in that ring," Morrel said, brushing off the hype surrounding his opponent. Confident and determined, Morrel has promised to shock the world on fight night, and he truly believes he will walk away victorious.
Scared.
Both men have everything to gain. The question is, who will rise to the occasion and who will sink under the pressure? Well, what do you think? Share your thoughts below, and don't forget to like and subscribe to the channel for more updates. See you in the next one.